when I really started learning was when I started investing into my business, right? So 2,500 to my name. You put 2,000 a week into leads. Now I have 500, right? Now I have to make this work. I need money for next week's leads. It wasn't about like my lifestyle anymore. It was just about funding my business.
Braden Hernandez, thank you for joining us this morning, my friend. It's a
Hey
pleasure to
man,
see
thank
you.
you. Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, not sure if you remember, we spoke briefly at convention. We were talking about the IUL leads because we were
Hmm.
you, Nicholas, and I had shared the same sort of vendor for leads. We're not going to talk about them, but it's good to have you on, man.
Yeah, man.
I think the theme of today's conversation, man. I know a lot of people may or may not know who you are, so to give everyone a little bit of background on Braden, Braden Hernandez's first year in insurance, if I'm not mistaken, you issued over $1 million in production off of your own pen. You wrote $1 million in issue paid premium. Most people don't even do that with a team. So that's a great feat in itself. They also achieved a personal milestone of retiring your parents. How young are you, too, if you don't mind me asking?
Turned 20.
Oh,
Just turned 20,
20?
man.
20? Okay.
Yes, sir.
You retired your parents through this business, and now you're obviously focusing on teaching other agents how to replicate the same results. So, theme of today's conversation is just talking a little bit about, what it took for someone like yourself to go from zero to $1 million in production, and then obviously building a legacy through others. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, man. 100%.
Did I miss anything in terms of
Absolutely not.
okay,
It's pretty,
cool,
it's pretty straight to it.
cool, man. Well, tell me this because I think a lot of people like. I mean, in my mind, at least, I'm thinking like, how does someone go from never being in insurance to just issuing $1 million their first year without at least having some sort of like experience of some sort, whether that's sales experience, whether that's like running business, whatever it may be. Where does that level of acumen come from, right? So, kind of, if you don't mind, just walk me through or walk us through who you were before getting into the insurance industry.
Dude, before getting into insurance, I was in high school. And when people come in, like this business, anybody can succeed in it, right? And what I mean by that is I was in high school, I cheated on every test. Like I was just one of those kids, man. And you know, from a young age, I knew that I wanted to be somebody. I wanted to build my name, but I really just wanted to work for myself, right? And I knew what came with that. What came with that was risk. It was it was scary, man. Like starting out, it was super scary. But coming into this industry, I was grateful for the mentorship that I did have. And I don't know if y'all know Jake, but he came in, he did 750 his first year, and it was kind of like passing the torch down. So like my whole mindset is okay, so I need to do more than that, and I need to replicate agents the same way that I just need to pass the torch each and every year, all right? So I would say, man, just came out of high school, jumped into it, and I learned the play really quick. And all it is like taking the risk and investing into yourself and making yourself uncomfortable. I feel like that's what it really comes down to.
Hmm. No, I respect that greatly. How did
Mhm.
so you ran into Jake and
Yeah.
Jake
Hmm.
Wamba, he's the founder of Legacy Creation Group. You ran into him and then how'd you guys meet, if you don't mind me asking? Social media, or like what?
Social media, man.
Okay.
He was running IULs, and dude, it's a product that I would buy, honestly. It's retirement, life insurance in one, simplify the sale. And, I was running mortgage protection for like a month.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't, I didn't have any success with it. Dude, it took me a month to sell something. Right. So
Yeah.
when people give up after like a month, I mean, like a week or a couple of days, it took me a month to sell a policy.
Wow.
Right. So, I joined the industry in
Hmm.
December through January. It took a month for me to sell something. Dude, when I sold something, I had like 2,500 to my name,
Mm-hmm.
right? And back to the leads. I saw one of our top guys investing into himself. I think it was like 2K a week.
Hmm.
Dude, I'm not scared, bro. Like what? Let's do the same exact thing because you put your shoes on the same way I do in the morning, right? And I know, like, even without sales experience, It's not that hard, man. It's not rocket science. So whatever he was doing, it was working for him, and I knew I could do it. So I
Hmm.
started that and never turned my leads off. And I felt
Hmm.
like that's also what got me to where I am right now as well.
Hmm. So even in
No
the
matter what leads, no matter what leads it would have been like I would have never turned them off. It's
Mhm.
because it's just like my mindset.
Mhm.
It's
So
always
even
having leads.
yeah, because I think that's I'm glad you said that because I think that the common theme is that like, you know, first of like people getting into lead spend and they have a really good week or they have a really bad week, right? Especially bad week. And then the
Mhm.
reaction is like, oh shoot, like I had like two good weeks, one bad week. Now I need to like, reduce my lead spend or like you're saying, shut it off, right? So and it's referring to live leads for people here who are not understanding. But no man, I'm glad that you touched on that because like I mean I'm sure that you also had like a little bit of like what was your lifestyle looking like at this time too? Like what was your overhead cost? Do you live with your parents? Like what and where are you from exactly, right? Like where you residing at?
So I was in Dallas, and yeah, I was living with my parents, man, and
Okay.
I was grateful. But dude, I was here in the back of my head, like, yo, go to college,
Yeah, yeah,
do all
yeah.
this. It's not working. It took me a month to sell something. It was tough, but honestly, like I just drown out all the noise. I focus, I lock in on one thing, and I just truly dedicate all my time and focus to it, and I make it happen, no matter what it is.
What?
So,
Mhm.
you got it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know also like what led you to get started in this business? Like there's so many other avenues you could have gone to, right? Like was it just the income or like was there any other reasons like that got you into insurance in the first place? Because when it comes to like the sales industry as a whole, like you could have gone many different routes, but like why insurance as a whole?
Dude,
Fresh out of college.
yeah, one of my friends from high school actually like recruited me to a different IMO.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the one I was doing mortgage protection with for like a month, and then
Okay.
I found Jake and like transferred over here. But for that, man, I had like a clothing brand and I was scaling it through high school, and I
Mm-hmm.
scaled it like pretty big. And dude, the turnaround for like income on that, you had to wait a month, and you have to advertise it and put a lot of money into it. Dude, with this, you buy a lead pack, right? You help people and you get paid pretty freaking quick. So that's my whole thought process. And if I can get a lot of agents to do that, replicate myself through the business, um, and change a lot of people's lives, like that's what I'm here for, dude. My life was changed within a year, within a few months actually, and it
Mm-hmm.
was really changed within a year. And then I just opened an office in San Diego, and now we're filling,
Wow.
agents.
Your own
Yeah,
office.
so my own office.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That's awesome.
hmm
Cali, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, obviously issuing a million in your first year is not normal. So like what did that actually take? Like talk to me about spend, talk to me about activity. I mean, what talk to me from a position of like you trying to teach me as a new agent. Let's just say I'm not even a new agent. Let's say I'm coming to you, I'm coming from a different agency, right? I let's just say hypothetically I knew how to sell insurance, right? Um I come to you and I say, hey man, I want to learn how to issue $1 million in a year as well. Walk me through the exact blueprint of how you would, do that. What would you advise me to do?
Well, like I would advise you to mess up as soon as possible. So what is that going to look like? It's kind of going to look like what I, went through my first month, but with a lot more help. So I would put you on age leads for at least like 30 days, right? Understand the concept of the business, understand what you're selling, how to sell it, mess up a lot, ask me for help, but implement what I'm saying as soon as possible. Because I messed up a lot, right? But when I really started learning was when I started investing into my business, right? So 2,500 to my name. You put 2,000 a week into leads. Now I have 500, right? Now I have to make this work. I need money for next week's leads. It wasn't about like my lifestyle anymore. It was just about funding my business. So 2,000. Now I have 500, and now I can't mess up anymore. I don't have time to mess up, right? Now I'm investing into my business. So I feel like a lot of people will learn a lot quicker when they start putting money towards their business
Mhm,
because you don't want to lose money,
mhm,
right? So I give my agents like 30 days, dude. We make some money within that. I want to make sure it's not kind of like the position I was in. Like kind of that was pretty risky, but um, stack up some capital, and then we just put them in our in-house, and they've been hitting. It's been the most profitable I've ever been in the business as well, as far as like where leads go.
Mhm.
But that's kind of like the game plan. Mess up as soon as possible and implement what I say, and just be coachable and show up every single day and work 7 days a week
Mm.
and
Okay.
work 12 plus hour days. It's
Mhm.
gonna take that. It's gonna for sure take that. It's not just coming to the office, make a sale, make two sales, or you know, every day I have to make a sale. I can't bagel
Mhm.
at all
Mhm.
because I have to lead from the front. That's just my mindset with anything.
Mhm.
This year I'll issue over 1 million, and
Mhm.
I have to keep on. I have to just keep on showing up no matter what. I'll be the
Mhm.
first one in the office, last one out the office.
Mhm.
All right. But that's just kind of like the mindset I have. I feel like anybody can actually like do this. I know a few, at least two of my agents this year will issue over 1 million.
Wow.
And it's just the proof of concept. It's just
Mhm.
the proof of concept. That I honestly, I promise you, I know what I'm doing. And if you can trust me and I can guide you to that finish line, and you're going to mess up a lot, but just trust the process. Just trust it.
It's insane, man. $1 million.
Yes, sir.
Like, what is the income? So I know obviously like with commission caps and things like that. Like, and I also see you're writing some. You and I have we've been connected on social media for quite some time, dude.
Yeah.
You're writing like $50,000 like IULs. Your average deal size. What would you say average deal size is off the
I
IUL?
mean, last week was pretty nuts. I had an annual review, and then I had one that was it was a rollover. But for like average size deals, the big ones are cool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, anywhere between like 3,600, 2,400, 3,600. And
How
I like the way the small deals pay as well. I mean,
yeah.
dude, it's just I like it for
Mhm.
sure.
How many apps would you say you're writing a week?
I go for like trying to look. Last week I wrote 14.
14 apps a week. Okay. Wow.
Hmm.
So that's the caliber of the
I try
coach.
to go for 20, dude. I'm kind of
20
like
apps a week. Okay.
kind of mad at that though. Yeah.
I mean, you made up for it for sure, dude.
Yeah.
So, well, how much you write like last week? Like 100,000 or something?
130K.
130K.
130K. But that's another thing in my mindset is a lot of people would write that and take off this week.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they'd write a big deal and take off the next day. No matter what day it is, I'll show up at zero. No matter what it is.
That's the truth. You know what I am curious to understand too? Again, if you don't want to answer this, you don't have to. But I'm
Yeah.
curious, man, because again, you write huge deals. A lot, some of them
Yeah.
are huge. And I know obviously with a lot of these is also you get paid NLG, some is 2,500, some FNG is like 3,500. It's like the cap,
Hmm.
but you're getting paid every month.
Yeah.
Like if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to answer this, but or you can give a range if you're not comfortable with giving
I'll
that
just
number.
answer it, bro. Yeah. What's
Yeah,
up?
what is how much would you say you're actually making like passive income from like maybe last year's work, like renewals, residuals, things like
Oh,
that?
dude. So last year I brought close to 750 advanced. And then this year
Well,
that's with the 9 month cap. And this year it's kind of just like the back ends. Now the back ends are starting to hit. So the deals that I wrote last year around this time,
uh,
I'm finally getting like the full like advance. And then
that's
now we're doing annual reviews. Now if you want to maybe increase, we can increase. But yeah, my book of business is really strong, dude. It's really strong. Just because I feel like the way I sell it is I simplify the sale, but I actually just don't just sell bull crap. I actually see what they have going on and try to put them in the best position as possible.
insane. So, okay, so you're how much would you say you're like making passively on a monthly basis right now?
Um, I would say close to six figures. So
A
last month I
month?
cleared six
A month
figures.
you're making? Six
Yeah.
figures. That's
So
insane.
last month I cleared six figures because now I have a team. But when I was like on my own, I was touching like depending on the month, like 75 a month. But
That's crazy.
my whole goal is if I'm the only one making money on my team, it's not
Yeah,
fun.
it doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can care less. And I'll spend my last dime on this business
Yeah.
because I know it gives back 10 times, no matter what it is. If it's leads, if it's an office, it's scary situations, but what needs to be done has to be done.
Hmm.
Not everybody's like me. Not everybody can just do this virtual.
Hmm.
And like, kind of just give y'all some context. I wrote 1.1 million like virtually, no office,
Hmm.
no office. Discord sometimes, but I had to like really figure it out. just because I'm an independent person, but I'm also coachable. So if a guy's telling me to do something, I'm not just gonna like not do it. I'm gonna take action as soon as possible. And if Jake's like, dude, let's get you an office. You gotta start opening it up, bring some bodies in here. I'm not gonna listen. No, I'm gonna do it because I trust them.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I feel like putting yourself in back against the wall situations kind of just it's the best possible situation.
Mm, mm,
It's the best possible situation because you can't get comfortable. And that's the big thing about this business is no matter what you're doing, there's always another level to like to overcome.
mm, mm,
Like right now, it's just I'm focused on team while still producing at a high level.
mm.
It's stressful, but I mean it'll be well worth it at the end for
No
sure.
doubt. No
For
doubt.
sure.
I mean, it sounds like you pay a lot of homage to your mentorship. So like, you replicating that is going to be crucial. Now,
Mhm.
there are people here who also are building as well, right? And you did, you were very, honest about the fact that it is not an easy thing to juggle, right? Having to produce
No.
and then having to lead at the same time at a high level. So how are you, would you say, juggling that? Like in terms of time management, what time are you getting in the office? What time are you leaving? Do you have like time set aside to be able to help your agents while also producing at the level you're producing at? Would you mind like talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, dude. So I get to the office at 7, and I
Mhm.
leave the office around like 8. So from 7 to 9, I kind of deal with back end stuff, whatever that is. That's contracting. That's like kind of like team calls like this. And then after that, it's like my dial block. So I'm dialing like all the new leads that came in overnight, the week prior, whoever didn't answer, appointments and stuff like that. And then usually within that time, I get a few sales. And then from kind of like noon to 8, full undivided attention to my agents. So it's like game planning. How do we get like a lot of one-on-ones?
Noon to
Because
8
like
p.m. Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. Noon to 8
8
p.m.
p.m., 8
Okay.
p.m., and that's PST. Yeah. So it's like 10 Central and then
Yeah, yeah,
11
yeah. You
Eastern.
have the upper hand, man.
So
No one talks about this. All the PST people, I live in Cali for like a year, unfortunately.
yeah.
Fortunately at the same time. But you're 2 hours ahead of everybody else. There's no
Yeah.
reason, there's no like question as to why folks in Cali are typically, more financially well off than other states that just up earlier. But so you're saying
Yeah.
12 p.m. to 8 p.m., you're focusing on your agents. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So 12 to 8, I'm focusing on my agents. What do they need from me? How can I provide like the most support and value as possible? But I'm real big on quality over quantity,
Mm,
right? You can have 100 agents, but if you're barely pouring into them and they're only writing like 5 to 10 grand a month, like, what's the point,
mm,
right? So I'd rather have 30 agents producing, anywhere from 50 to 100K a month, just because it's like it's proven. If you sit down by me or you sit down by one of my guys, and a new person just walks in, it's no matter who you sit around, it's gonna feel like you're sitting around
mm,
me because they have the same sales process. They do the same exact thing, and that's like a bulletproof system that I kind of figured out how to replicate myself as fast but as efficient as
mm.
possible, right? So it's kind of like my whole day. How can I provide the most support while still lead from the front?
So you're producing only in the mornings typically then.
Yeah. So between 9 to 12 is typically what I do. Today I'll probably do like 10 to 1. And when a fresh lead comes in during the day, if it's like past that, I'll give it a call.
Mhm.
But for the most part, within that time block, we get a few sales in.
Beautiful, man. Okay, well, and you talked about obviously are you spending 2K a week on leads, or how much are you spending on leads right now?
Right now, around like 1,600, dude. It's a
1,600 a
big
week.
difference. It's a
Yeah, it
big
is.
difference, dude.
Well, you're
It's a
in-house
big
now, right?
difference.
So no
Yeah, but
retainer after that.
no retainer, but we do kind of help some agents out. So if you want to hop on a call or whatever, you can hit me up and we can figure something out. But it's where we come from, and like the type of stuff
Mhm.
we went through. So yeah, it's a big difference. No retainer, just lead spin. What do you want to spend?
Mhm.
So that's what I like about it because it breaks down all the numbers, and again, it's like the most profitable I've ever been in my business as well.
So 1,600 a week. What does that put us at? Like just about 8 a month?
8, and then when I bring new agents in,
Mhm.
um,
No, it's 6,400.
sometimes like I do incentives to where like lead packs or whatever. Like I'll buy you leads for a week and stuff like that. And it just gets everybody going. But like you just put the numbers together. That's how much I spend a month on leads now and still produce at even like a higher level.
Yeah.
So
That's
kind of
insane.
mind-boggling.
You're spending 6,400 and you're averaging about like 50 to 100K. That's actually wild. Issue
Yeah.
bit. That's insane. Okay.
Right now my numbers are messed up on the IP report. So,
Just taking
but
a
this month will probably be at least I'm gonna try to go for like a close to like a 200K month
insane.
because I'm big on doubling down on what's working, right? So today what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll double my lead spend.
Mhm.
So instead of 1590, I'll do whatever that is.
Mhm.
I'll double it.
1,000, yeah.
So
Now, big thing for a lot of new agents coming in too, right? Is like you talked about this, is being able to have that sort of safety net coming in, right? Not everyone is like a risk taker like yourself, right?
yeah,
Mm, and some people also have like families, they have kids, things like that, right? So it's a lot more responsibilities, coming into this. And of course, the game name of the game is to like, take risk for sure. So not trying to knock anything you're saying, but the question I'm trying to ask more so is like your first 30 days, you get an agent stack up their capital. What would you say is a safe number for an agent to be able to stack up to be able to invest into leads going into their second month in this business?
10 grand.
10 grand in their first month.
Hmm.
You get them to
Yeah,
stack 10. Okay.
yeah.
How many agents are you overseeing right now, if you don't mind me asking?
34.
34?
I have like in the office. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So out of 34, how many of them would you say like are able to stack up like 10 in their first
all of
month?
them,
Really?
all of them. Where they're out. Just because if you don't, you're either not working or you're not doing like exactly what I'm telling you to do.
That's
It's
crazy.
all it's all proven. If 31 guys deposit 10 grand their first month and 32nd guy comes in and doesn't do it, you're not we're messing up somewhere.
Yeah, right, right.
Then
Right,
I'm
right.
good at like cutting the cancer off really quick. So like
Mhm,
if you gotta go, dude.
mhm.
So yeah, everybody that comes in here actually gets paid pretty freaking quick, dude. Pretty quick.
Hire fast, fire faster. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your sales process a little bit too. So when
Yeah.
you get in front of a client, what does your
Hmm.
sales process look like from start to finish? Because you're primarily focusing on like IUL. So I think folks, I mean, even myself, I'll take a full accountability. When I first got on IUL leads, like first of all, I was not even the best at them, but I'll say that it's you start to psych yourself out a little bit thinking about, oh, I have to structure this and I gotta speak in this way. And talk a little bit about your sales process, like when it comes to talking to these IUL leads, and what are some of the do's and don'ts people should keep in mind when going about focusing on these leads?
Yeah. Do's and don'ts. I would say the don'ts is don't sell everybody. Everybody
Okay.
does not need to be sold. Okay. The do's is provide as much. I would say honestly, just put the client in the best position. What do they want? What do they want out of this IUL? A lot of agents really just don't do that. But what's good about me is I simplify my sales process, and typically every call is within like 25 to 30 minutes, and it's closed. We don't do any appointments. It's all one call closed. And I don't do mostly any underwriting. I just I hate hypothetical situations. I like going to bed at night knowing I got paid or I didn't get paid, you know. But opening up the call, I just basically what caught your attention about the ad that you saw online. It's either going to be one or two things. It's going to be retirement or it's going to be life insurance. It's the whole reason I love this concept of the IUL. It's because it's something I would buy, right? The other reason I do sell this is because for one, we're talking to somewhat like a younger clientele. For two, they're somewhat healthier, so they'll qualify for the product. And then three, for the most time, they are dealing with a little bit more capital, right?
Mhm.
Now, when it comes to are y'all running IULs or what do
No,
y'all
not
run?
really. We run
Okay,
primarily inbound like FEX, Gen Life, um, pretty much that's pretty much it. Mortgage protection, some, but like just primarily Gen Life, FEX is what we do.
yeah, perfect. So, like with this, confused buyers don't buy. And I learned that within at least probably like my first three calls of running IULs. I was like, over explaining everything. I was talking too much. I was leading the client the wrong way. Now it's just a straight line like sell. What caught your attention? What are you looking for? Right? Let them talk. And then I'm breaking down how an IUL works, but simplifying the process. All right. So it's going to be four things. The first one's going to be the tax-free growth of the product, right? Kind of explain that. The second one is going to be the market-linked growth without the risk.
One
Okay.
more time. You say
The third one,
what was the second thing?
the market-linked growth without the
Okay.
risk. The third is going to be the living benefits, then the death
Mhm.
benefit. All right. So it's four things. Two things for retirement, two things for life
Mhm.
insurance. Okay. Now, when a client comes to you and they're, let's just say 40, 50 with no life insurance in place, if they pass away tomorrow, their family would kind of be like screwed. All right. So I hit a little bit harder on the life insurance aspect of this just because we are life insurance agents. We get paid off of life insurance. But if a client comes to me and they want something for retirement, and put them in the best situation possible. But if they
Mhm.
ask for my advice, I'll advise them on life insurance,
Mhm.
right? And let the retirement be the cherry on top.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I mean, typically, how long are y'all's phone calls going for?
I'd say about 40 minutes,
Yeah.
40 minutes on average.
I would say I'm within like an e-app within like 9 to 11 minutes.
That's insane.
And I bill report after social. But
Hmm.
I would say what I had to overcome early on was actually doing a correct financial inventory sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
That look like.
Just because a lot of clients they'll come to you. It's like going to a dealership and wanting a Ferrari, but we can only like afford a Honda, right? So actually running the financial inventory sheet, and no matter what the client actually tells me they want to contribute towards their policy, I'm always bringing them down
Mhm.
because for one, that always built credibility towards me, and for two, you kind of let their guard down,
Mhm.
right? Like we're lowering it. We're not so based on the number, no matter what it is. Like I'm always lowering it. I want to make sure it's comfortable. Because if the first thing you told me, if I did the financial inventory sheet right, and we do 5 to 10% of your net monthly income, we break that, and that's good for you. I would suggest we start off with half of that. So let's just say you want to do, 500 really, was really comfortable. I'd make a suggestion. Hey, let's just get started with like 250 just to get our foot in the door. And remember, we can always increase over time. All right. But would that 250 be comfortable for you? They'll for sure bite on that every time.
Mhm.
Instead of just going for the first number, like 500, and now you get to banking and they don't know about it anymore. Right. Every time I go through an e-app, I know it's going to be a sell. I
Mhm.
don't just go for the approval. I don't just go, no, we're going through an e-app. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to walk you through the finish line because after I get your social, I know I'm going to get your banking. Right. And that's within typically, like I said, my calls are within like 25 to 30 minutes just because I don't like wasting my time.
Hmm.
And I kind of explained it like IULs for dummies. You've seen the business books. Make it as simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. You can, I mean, there's certain things you can do like, NLG structure and stuff, but let's just simplify the product.
Sorry.
You know, you're
Nice.
good.
Hmm.
Just simplify it.
And these are all one call closes, you're saying. So a majority of them. Do you have like out of on a percentage scale, yeah? How many would you say, what percentage of your sales are appointments comparison to them being one call close? Like out of 10 sales, how many of them are appointments?
Dude, at a 10 sales, I don't run appointments, bro.
That's crazy.
I don't
Okay.
do it. Just
So
because
how
like
many sales I'm in
appointments
the
in my
car?
head,
Okay.
yeah, appointments in my head, dude, are disappointments. I know you're probably not going to show up anyway. So I try to make sure I can, lock you down as soon as possible. So if it's a one call close, it's a one call close. If it's not, it's kind of just like, I'll hit you, but I know you're probably not going to answer.
Okay. Now,
Mhm.
in a situation where like someone's in the car or someone's at work, what are you saying?
I just try to overcome it 3 times, dude. So all I really need is your ear. I just want to make sure there's something even important and you see the value in this. So what were you really looking for?
Hmm.
If they're just like they keep on going and going and going, I'll push 3 times, then I'll reschedule. I do reschedule sometimes, dude. Sometimes you can't catch them at the right time, but for the most part, I'm just like one call closer, man.
Fine. Well, in the first few minutes of the conversation, I know you talked about like what are you talking about in the first few minutes? And typically, yeah, let's talk about that. What are you talking about in the first few minutes? I know you talked about the financial inventory. You talked about like the four things you're hitting on in the IUL, but as we already know, the intro is the most important part of any sort of conversation with a client. So, how are you having that conversation? What are you knocking out in the first, I guess, few seconds or first few minutes? to be able to set yourself up to get on the e-app in the first 9 minutes, like you said. Because those
Yeah,
word tracks have to be like on point. I don't know. I'm not genuinely interested in like what you're actually saying to do that.
100%, dude.
I thought
So
that
like
was
my word track is what really. So I would just say, hey Chris, like yeah, who's this? Hey Chris, this is Braden Hernandez with the IUL department. How are you doing today?
Mhm.
Okay, doing good. Hey man, I'm glad to hear that. You just sent me that request this morning with that life insurance or retirement. Right now, I'm running truckers for truckers. You remember doing that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember doing that. Okay, perfect. So, I mean, what really caught your attention about that ad that you saw? Was it more of the life insurance or retirement?
Mhm.
Life insurance or retirement. No matter what they say, I'm digging deep on it. So, as far as retirement right now, what do you currently have in place? All right, a work policy. Okay. As far as life insurance, what do you currently have in place? Most of the time, it's like a work policy or a term or whatever. But I would say running. I mean, it's like fresh, dude. They just filled it out, sent you in a request, and now you're just, you know, it's more like providing, dude. It's like order taking. What do they want? And then you're just gonna go through it and make it simple and like sell it. All
Mhm.
right.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
how do you also like what are some of the most common objections that you're typically seeing when it comes to these?
I
You
would
know,
say right
any
now,
unique ones? Any unique like different ones? I know the typical is like I'm not interested in talking to my wife, can't afford it. Anything other than that, like unique sort of objections you're gonna get with IULs?
yeah. Right now I mean, it's all like just a simple, like I gotta talk to my wife about and stuff like that. And you got to push through that. But most of the time, they have nothing in place as far as retirement or life insurance. And it's our job to be like, find the solution to the problem. Okay. And, if they don't have anything in place for retirement or anything in place for, life insurance, um, if they pass away tomorrow with a mortgage, kind of how would that leave your spouse? Just dig deep on those questions. But I would say it's all like the same rebuttals. They're all smoke screens, no matter what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They're all smoke screens. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you hit everything. I mean, we're going to have to open up for questions at the end too, man. Talk like, sort of pry a little bit more into like the data pieces and things like that. You did sort of mention like, retiring your parents as well. I really want to talk about that, sort of shift into how did that even go about? Like what kind of went into you being able to do that?
Yeah,
Like,
my whole like, I mean,
um,
dude, waking up every morning is what I do it for. Your why has to be pretty freaking strong,
mm,
right? It can't just be for you. At the end of the day, I have a lot of people depending on me. A lot of people I need to take care of. So if it was just for me, I'd be able to satisfy myself pretty easily.
mhm,
But now it's like, it's further than that. So, with my parents, for one, now they have a car that never declines. They can do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do. They still go to work, dude, but they don't have to. They
mhm.
don't have to anymore. But that just came about kind of just, out of nowhere. I always told them from a young age, I'm going to retire y'all, but I didn't know it was ever going to be this soon, you know?
Mhm. It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful thing. You
Yeah,
got siblings too, or
yes,
no?
sir. I
Just
have an
you.
older brother. Yeah, I have an older brother.
You can try
He's a
and get.
firefighter in the Air Force. Yeah, I'm trying to
Oh
get him
wow.
on. Hmm.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. It's a
Yes,
beautiful
sir.
thing. I think that's like one of the biggest. I mean, even I'll say that's one of the biggest reasons I'm doing this too, man. Um, you know, the income and all that is great, but if you have no reason as to why you're doing this, that's like when people typically cap out, right? Everyone has like that number when like you start to sort of take your foot off the gas a little bit more, and the only thing that's going to get you to continue to push your foot down is something bigger than yourself. So. Again, so sort of shifting the leadership side of things too, right? When did you start building an agency, if you don't mind me asking? Like when did you hire like your first agent?
I would say November.
November?
November is when I actually started like really building and actually like hopping on calls and
Why
like
did it take you
finding
so long?
the.
What took you so
What
long?
happened?
What took you so long to like want to start like
Dude, I
building?
kick I kick myself every day. I wish I wouldn't have, but like my whole thought process was I want to really like prove the concept of it and show people it can be done and show people you can submit 1 million in a year on your personal pen
Mhm.
at 20 or I was 19 at the time. But what took me so long was I was just so focused on just building myself up and actually learning the business and not just putting somebody in a chair, giving them a script and me not even know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So, if I sell 1 million, I'm pretty confident what I'm doing. It's working. So I know if you come, if I have a new agent that comes in, um, they'll learn pretty quick. And for the most part, they'll they'll put a lot of money in the bank. So yeah,
Fine. So November is when you hired your first agent. Is that same agent still with you? So I know you said you.
he is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So he
He is still
survived.
with me. He submitted 75K last month, bro.
That's insane. Beautiful stuff, man. That's the beauty of like showing if your leadership is truly working, right? Can you recreate yourself, right? Because one can say, yeah, man, I can, teach you how to make money. I can teach you to do all these things. I'm the best leader in the world. But, if someone were to look at you and say, no one's going to look at your production to see if you can lead someone else. It doesn't make any sense, right? That just goes to show that you can
Yeah.
you can make money for yourself. The best way to know if you can actually do it is we're going to look at your people's numbers, right? Now,
Mhm.
at what point did you sort of realize like you could scale this just beyond your own production? Well,
When I saw them do it,
mhm.
right? I'm just not even like close to what my numbers were, and they never produce as much as I've ever produced. And um, I just feel like coming into this business and seeing people that were producing like 25, maybe 30K with a huge team, it was like it's a mind opening thing. Okay, what if you submit 100 and some over 100 grand a month with a big team? All right,
Mhm.
much more people is that going to bring you?
Mhm.
And that was just kind of like my whole mindset, dude. It's just I want to produce at a high level, and I want to always, for one, be number one because I always want to lead from the front no matter what. And then
Mhm.
for two, that's never gonna let me be complacent. I'm always gonna show up every single day, and that's why I bought an office, and we host trainings every day. We just get to it, man.
It's fine, man. It's fine.
Hmm.
Well, I know you kind of mentioned like, agents first 30 days, you get them to stack up, 10K income. Second month, you got them taking on their own spend. It's amazing. But what are the first few things like you focus on when getting them to start producing?
I would say actually like learning the concept of what an IUL is. Right. So they
Okay.
sit down by me and they watch me dial,
Mhm.
right? And they take notes and I, record my calls with them and they go home and I really do feel like having an accountability partner in this is what got me a long way. It's somebody that at the end of the day, I'm just competing with all the time. So either I sold something or he sold something and I didn't. Just hold yourself accountable. All right. And you know, coming in this, I had a guy that I was with, all day. At the end of the day, we kind of like call each other and like what happened, what rebels you go through, or what objections did you have to handle, and stuff like that. But I would feel like find somebody that's if you're just in the industry, find someone that is kind of like close to you, kind of like producing the same amount as you, and just like level up with them.
Mm.
It'll help you a lot. It'll help you a whole bunch
Yeah.
because it might seem like me and a new agent, it's kind of like it's far away, but if I got a few new agents in here and they're kind of learning at the same time and they bring some on and they're, kind of learn at the same time, it just comes down to like accountability partner.
No doubt. I think that's huge,
Hmm.
man. I'm glad that you brought that up too, because like, especially working doing this virtually, so crucial. You kind of have to like work overtime to make sure that like, people don't get lazy. Because you see, it's so easy like for folks like everyone wants to work from home. I say this all the time. Everyone wants to work from home until it's time to work from home, you know? And then you see people getting up and they'll go and walk away from their computer for like, an hour, sit on their phone, scroll. Like, when you're around other like dogs, you are forced to want to do this, you know? That's a huge piece there. What would you say? So I know you said you have 34 agents now, what, 35? 34.
34.
34. What would you say? And I'm sure that you probably had definitely hired more than 34 to keep the 34 that you have right now, because you follow the ethos of, firing just as fast as you hire. But what would you say in comparison to the ones who are with you and the ones who are not with you? What separates the agents who replicate your results from the ones who did not or don't?
What separates them is honestly just not being coachable, bro.
What does
So
that look like?
when not being coachable, man, just showing up to the office at 12, leaving the office real early, kind of half doing everything. Um, when I first like started, I was on the phones all day, dude. Like I had to make money. I had to. And if you're kind of like in the mindset where everything's, think everything's just good and you're broke, like I just can't stand that mindset. I wake up every day like I don't have anything,
Mhm.
right? That's why I wake up at 0 every day. And not being coachable either means one, like I said, just like your schedule, or two, you're not implementing what I'm saying. So let's say you just got a objection on, say, social, and I tell you to say this, and the next e-app you get the same objection. Dude, don't even come back to me anymore for that. I already told you. All right. But that's why I also like an office. I was virtual, but I see like a guy that messes up on, let's just say, banking or whatever. Dude, now, let's say it's like a new agent. Now an agent that's been here for like a month, we'll go in and help them. It's just like coaching everybody up and making everybody leaders.
That's awesome, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're kind of strapped for time here. We're gonna open up for questions here momentarily, but we have this sort of thing that we do that the last guest asks a question for the next guest, and you are the next guest, and then you need to think of a question to ask the next guest coming on. Okay.
Okay.
Last guest asked, "What are a few of the key things that you've done to get you where you are today?"
Few key things. One of them is investing back into my business, for sure. Would not be here if I was not investing back into my business. For two was actually like reaching out to people as far as like recruiting. I wouldn't be here without that. And then for three, building like my name and like actually, just work my butt off, dude, every single day. That's kind of like what got me to where I am. But I would say for my question though would be, you see, what's the biggest struggle you've had to like overcome? Like that's a big one.
Biggest, which one?
Struggle you've had to overcome.
Beautiful, Braden. Appreciate you, man. We're gonna open up for questions here momentarily. If everyone can unmute and say thank you, I'm gonna start reading off the questions here momentarily.
Thanks, Braden.
But everyone can please unmute.
Thank you.
Thank you, Braden.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you so much.
I appreciate you so much, man. God bless you.
Dude, I appreciate you. God bless all of y'all.